Nobody likes being in the dark, and it's uncomfortable when you're unaware of developments that concern you. Engineers in particular need to be aware of the developments in their area and particularly the state-of-the-art technology which is coming into existence very soon. There are some massive changes that are taking place this year in 2020, and if you watch this video you're going to be clued up and you're going to know what kind of state-of-the-art technology is coming into existence very soon. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 of the most groundbreaking developments and innovations that are coming into existence this year, and there's research going on all over the world to try and move this innovation forward. That way you'll have a clear understanding of some of the most groundbreaking innovation that's taking place right now. You'll be able to share that with others and, of course, know your stuff. These innovations are not just small gadgets, they're actually developments which are going to solve real problems, and they're actually going to have an impact on probably all of our lives. And I don't necessarily mean just a small difference, I mean that they might actually change the way we live and the way that we work. Encrypted communication helped us to communicate privately by jumbling up the messages and the communication which we sent across the internet. And it could only be read by somebody if they knew how to unjumble it. For your friend or your colleague across the internet to unjumble the code or unjumble the message, then they needed to know a key. And that key you had to send over the internet as well. Now the problem is, if that key got into the wrong hands, then who knows what they could have done with it. A team at Delft University of Technology is working hard to connect 4 cities in the Netherlands so that people can communicate between those cities in a completely encrypted way, so that nobody can actually intercept a key and nobody can unjumble any communication. This technology is known as quantum technology, and it's suggested to provide unhackable internet and unhackable communication between people. Now I know some people don't get this, but all of our communication is essentially coded into zeros and ones. I know many people will get lost here, but you'll have to bear with me. With zeros and ones, you can actually code letters. For example, you could say an A is a 00 and a B is a 01, and you could go like that all the way through the alphabet. And then similarly, you could add more complication or more zeros and ones to provide more detail into your message. Now this technology called quantum technology doesn't use the standard zeros and ones technique which we normally use to communicate. Rather, it communicates by sending rays of light, or what we call photons. And photons can carry a much richer amount of communication. Now the thing with photons, which is quite clever, is if somebody does try to intercept your message will be corrupted or it will be affected before it gets to your friend or your recipient over the internet. And that means that both of you will know that the message has been intercepted. Now, like our standard communication, a key is still required, but that means that both the message and the key, if either of them are intercepted, you will know about it. And that means that the actual communication is way more secure. Now, for the most part, you won't need that level of encrypted communication, such as if you're streaming a video or you're watching YouTube or you're just browsing the net. You won't need to have such carefully encrypted communication. But what about when you're dealing with confidential information, or you're working on highly secretive projects, or similarly you just want to send a message which you don't want anybody else to read? In that case, you will need it. Now it may be a while before this technology actually comes into our day-to-day lives, but it's important to be aware of it and know that it's coming. The old retail bank model is dying, and your local bank might have already shut its doors and closed already. And although cash has its benefits, the ease and transparency with card payments is irresistible to most people. But now things have gone a step further, and we've got things like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies which are increasingly becoming part of day-to-day sales and day-to-day life. And Facebook this year is due to launch its own digital currency called Libra, and it may well change the world. The idea behind Libra is for it to be a stable currency based on real assets which are around the world, and that way it won't be like the volatile cryptocurrencies which we've come across. This project from Facebook has faced a lot of opposition, and many of the people who are actually involved, many of the companies and corporations which actually supported it initially, have dropped out. Now the other thing is that many countries actually see this currency as one that will reinforce America's financial control and influence over the world. And for a long time, the dollar has been the de facto currency of the world, and it does provide America with some disproportionate power. And some suspect China is also trying to promote its own digital currency, renminbi, to the world in order to take that place and also get the benefits. With the new smartphones and other devices that we own, we actually have artificial intelligence, AI, or devices that learn at our fingertips. And it's actually now possible for these devices to run algorithms and learn without having to communicate with a cloud network across the world. This innovation is referred to as Tiny AI. Now, the two key benefits of Tiny AI are firstly that it allows us to run these AI algorithms much faster without all this additional communication, and also it's better for our own privacy. Existing services like voice assistants, autocorrect, and digital photo adjustments will just get better and better. Tiny AI will also make many other things possible. So things like mobile-based image analysis and medical scanning and analysis, and similarly autonomous and self-driving cars with faster reaction time. These will all be made faster and better through Tiny AI. The biggest issue with Tiny AI, which people do need to be aware of, is that it does mean that you have to share a lot more information with your phone. And if that information and data is compromised, then it can be quite serious. Now relationships need to be taken care of, and they need to be improved probably everywhere. And one of the key relationships which we often overlook is the relationship between us and our devices. The relationship between you and your device has to be one which is based on trust, respect, and value, just like any relationship. And when you take care of that, then everyone's happy. There are loads of drugs and medications on the market. But what if you, or say a child, has a really fatal condition, and it's so rare that nobody's studying it and nobody's developing any medication for it, neither have they? One of the statements used to describe such a condition is too rare to care. Mala Makovic is a young girl who suffers from a really fatal condition, and it's the result of a unique genetic mutation. And last year, a drug was developed specifically to help her. Now, the truth is that we're all individuals, and many of us have conditions which are very specific to ourselves. But with the innovation in medication which is taking place now, we're starting to see the rapid development and manufacturing of drugs and medication which is aligned with our own DNA. Now, there are many obstacles in the way, of course, things like testing, development, and also who actually will fund and pay for the costs of these medications is still a bit unclear. But who knows, if we are able to overcome these barriers, then we might actually stop suffering the side effects of many of the more commonly available medication. If you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.